Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising, beloved. This is your brother Chief Kalanago. Wagwan. We're about to get into this build right now. Okay. I know it might be a bit early. Some of y'all been partying all weekend, so to speak. Y'all been partying all last night, but you know what? It's time for school. You feel me? It's time to put in this work. So that's what I'm about to do right now. Put in this work as usual. So let me give you some time to get into this build. Log on here a little bit. Do me a favor. Go ahead and share the video, share the information, because that's how we got to get the truth out there, by sharing. Sharing is caring. You feel me? Let me make sure I have some audio on Facebook. Okay. I think we got audio on Facebook. Yeah, we do. We do. All right, go ahead and share this link, Linyard. Share the link, right? Let people know this truth, man. We're about to get in right now. We're about to go in. Like I said, grand rising to each and every one of you. This is your brother, man, and I'm hyped. I'm excited. I'm always passionate about the information that I bring to you. I know today, this supposed holiday is being celebrated called Juneteenth. Well, I'm not gonna get into Juneteenth in depth, because there's nothing in depth about it. All right. However, I'm going to break down the hoax or the illusion that people are free, especially people of color. Okay. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to take you through a few topics or subjects dealing with Juneteenth, the birth certificate, and I'm gonna connect all the dots. All right, the birth certificate, the Indian Citizen Act, the Indian Civil Rights Act, and we're also going to break down what a United States citizen is, and also what a United States business is. Okay, once again, our people are perishing for the lack of knowledge. And my goal as a teacher, as an educator, as one who enlightens people, is to bring you the truth. Now, however, it doesn't matter what I teach you and give you the facts and show you that it's actually true. It's really up to you. I cannot force that information down your throat, and I can't force you to do anything with it. All I could do is lead you to the well, and then it's up to you to go ahead and drink the water. All right? Because I'm taking you through the purification of the indoctrination and the false information we have been taught. All right? So get a pen, get a pad. You may want to take some copious notes, or if you so choose, you could just listen and go over the video once more. Give me 1 second. Okay. So hope everybody is soulful today, and you are in great moods. All right. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is not necessarily June 10th, but I'm going to make a brief mention of June 10th. So with that being said, I'm going to go back to 1865, when slavery was supposedly abolished. And I'm saying supposedly. All right. And what does all that mean? Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Please share the video, share the information. Let's get this truth out there. Okay. What is the first one I'm looking at? Give me 1 second. Let me just pull that up. Slavery was abolished. Okay, here we go. So here we are. All right. December 6th, 1865, passed by Congress on January 31st, 1865, and ratified on December 6th, 1865. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States, right? Now, for those of you who know or may not know, the original 13th Amendment, all right, had, well, of course, there was an addendum, all right. So it was changed, and the original 13th Amendment, there was also mentioned that there shall be no title of nobility in the United States. No title of nobility in the United States. What does that mean? That means that there should be no title, very simple, of nobility. All right. Therefore, a title of nobility would be um, a president, a governor. A title of nobility would be a lawyer, aka esquire. All right. So that was not supposed to happen. Okay. because only the crown, which is Britain, had the titles of nobility. But when they were going through their transitions, one of the deals was, okay, you know what? We will give you your partial independence. Okay. However, one of the provisions would be in Title 13, where there shall be no title of nobility in the United States. However, that was ratified. It was changed to what you see now as the 13th Amendment, talking about the abolishment of slavery in the United States. Okay. So when we're dealing with slavery, the first thing we have to comprehend is that every so-called ethnic group on the planet have been enslaved. That does not mean that everybody came from Africa on slave ships. When people hear about slavery, people tend to think that slavery is about Africa. No, it's not. Every single ethnic group on the planet have been enslaved, and is still enslaved to us for the most part. Okay. So when we are going back to 1865, the abolishment of slavery they are talking about, it doesn't necessarily, and this is why you have to know history. Okay, this is why you have to be able to dissect his story. The slave men that they're talking about of these colored people, they were not American Aborigines, okay, aka American Indians. American Indians have always been free, to the point where they were workers, and they were not slaves coming from Africa. They were working their own land. Okay. Some of them fell under the title of what we call servitude. All right. But the people that got their so-called freedom in 1865, they were not American Indians. They were not our ancestors. They were the descendants of the Black Europeans that brought their subjects here in the Americas, including the pale people, including some pale people. All right. So, but when it came to pale people, they did not identify them as slaves. They identified them as servants. But the 1865 bill that was passed by Congress, it included them as well. But they made it seem like it was only about people of color. You feel me? That had nothing to do with American Indians, which is us. That had nothing to do with us. And that's why I took the time in my previous videos to show you all the people of color that came here from Ireland, Scotland, and Britain, Germany, Prussia. I'm talking about Russia. Those were people of color coming here. So this act, or this bill of the abolishment of slavery, was for them. Now, mind you, they did not come here as slaves first. They came here as indentured servant. And up until King Charles, that's when slavery really started, during the reign of King Charles. King Charles is the one that named the colony of Georgia. Okay, not King Charles, pardon me, King George. My apologies, lineage, my apologies, okay? It's not King Charles, King George. And I think in a couple of videos I've mentioned King Charles, so I apologize for that. You know, it's just so much information sometimes. I just, spit these things from the dome, straight from the dome, without even preparing myself, right? So it was King George. It wasn't until King George slavery was really, really in boom, or it started legally, okay? That was the same King George that created the Georgia, the colony of Georgia, which now is a state of Georgia. All right. So it wasn't until his reign slavery really took place. But before that, it was all indentured servantry. All right. So the what you call it? The covenant was for, or the servantry was for 7 years max. Like I said before, sometimes the bosses would say, hey, you serve your 7 terms, but we don't feel like letting you go. So we're going to have you as a servant for another 7 years. Okay. So that's what they would do. But when King George came into the picture, man, he said, listen, forget all this indentured servant stuff. We're not letting nobody free. Everybody's a slave. That's when slavery started with King George. Okay. Keep in mind, like I told y'all before, African, that's why I did the video yesterday and showed you where that term came from and what it meant. All African means is employment. I'm talking about that's what it meant. Now it means something completely different. But when it first started, it meant enslavement. So Africa or African meant enslavement, all right? Not employment. And then that employee, pardon me, his description was called black. I'm going to repeat that. African it meant employment. Okay? Africa meant employment. African means employee. Okay? So African was the term, which means employment generally. All right? Now, when it comes to the person itself, which is African, it meant employee. All right? And that happened in Tunisia because that was the only part of Africa that was called, of that landmass that was called Africa. All right? However, because of the people's supposed description, they associated, even if they are not black, they associated Africa with black, which means slave. So it doesn't matter where you were at. All right? As long as you were employed by the system, you were considered an African. All right? As a matter of fact, to a certain extent, even regardless of race. That's why you had pale-skinned North Africans. All right? Even the Slavs were considered Africans because that's, Slav, a lot of people think that the word Slav came from slave. Yes and no. But I don't have to get into that right now because I don't want to complicate things, because all Slav means is a people of another language, right? But they became slaves. But let me stay focused here on 1865. So just to reiterate, 1865, the so-called freedom of the slaves, it were not American Indians, which is us, the American Aborigines, the copper-colored people of the Americas. That was the freedom of the people of the likes like Harriet Tubman, those different people, because Harriet Tubman, she was real and she was a Stuart and she was related to King James. Okay? She was a Jacobite. She was an Israelite. She was a Hebrew. All right? And the people that she was freeing, the 50 people to 70 people that she freed was not regular slaves. Those were her family. All right? And they were of the noble blood. That's who she was protecting. You feel me? And I already mentioned that. So those are the likes of those people from Ireland, Scotland, particularly Scotland, that were getting their freedom in 1865. I just wanted to point that out. But then they took everybody of color and put them in this big bracket and say, well, Juneteenth was your freedom. No, this had nothing to do with us. We have always been identified as a separate and a distinct people. Now, mind you, okay, yes, our ancestors did not call themselves American Indians. I get that, because before 1492, people were identifying themselves by their own territories, okay? By their own territories. I get that. So yes, even American Indian is a misnomer. However, because of legal and lawful documents and treaties and covenants, we have every right to call ourselves American Indians, because within law, it's even in the Constitution. So that was our protection. Our ancestors make sure that was put in place to protect us, until we lost the battle on paper by calling ourselves American Indians and accepting the identity or the false identity of being black, which is just a color. Now, there's no black country, there's no black flag, there's no black nationality. So that's an illusion. Black means dead in law. So liviter matus, and I've shown you that already. Okay? So that is what Juneteenth is all about. It has nothing to do with us American Aborigines, aka American Indian, the first people that has ever been on the land in the Americas. That is us. Nothing to do with us. All right? Let us proceed. I just wanted to make sure I take my time and explain that. Okay? What we're going to do next, let's see when all these things, and I put all these links in the description so you could do your own due diligence. All right? What are we going to do next? We're going to look at the birth certificate and see how all that started changing. In other words, Well, I hope I didn't lose this here. Give me 1 second. What did I just do, man? Hmm. What did I just do? Hold up. Give me 1 second, please. All of a sudden, something popped up on me. I don't know where it came from. Let us refresh that. Okay, here we go. Let me share this with y'all. All right. So now I'm going to, hey, what's going on, Lineage? What's up? I know everybody said what's up. Hey, what up, Kick Rocks? What up, Chief Kia Wish 2? I think that's what it is. And what up, Supreme Health? If I pronounce your name wrongly, I apologize. All right. All right. So I'm just gonna say, Chief, what up? Let me go ahead and share this with you. And I'll show you how the transition started taking place to put everybody on the one banner. Because the whole point was because the system was literally chaotic, but there was still some form of order. And this is what I mean. Like I told y'all before, the Iroquois Confederacy was supposed to be for us, the American Aborigines, aka American Indians. The Republic was supposed to be for the the so-called Black people that came from across the seas. All right. And the United States was for the pale people. That was supposed to be the breakdown. You feel me? But it so happened that the United States was the last man standing. And I already explained to you why that happened, but I'm going to give it to you a quick synopsis of why it happened. So when the deal was through with all the wars and all the bloodshed, okay, everybody came to the table and said, listen, the American Indians, they are a distinct people. They have to govern themselves. They have to have their own governments, and the United States have no jurisdiction over them. So therefore, the Iroquois Confederacy will deal with the indigenous people. And I'm talking about the original indigenous people, which is us, because indigenous means to be born or original. That's why the natives could call themselves indigenous, because they are born, but they are not original. I've already broken that down. So the Iroquois Confederacy was supposed to deal with us, the original people of the land. The Republic was supposed to deal with the Black Devils who came here in 1492 to fight, rape, and pillage our people. All right, that was for them, the Republic, because they came from a republic form of government for the most part in Europe. They are the Republicans, and they were people of color. Then, from their children, the pale people, they could not be left out, so they created the United States for them. That was all supposed to be dealing with commerce, only commerce whatsoever. So the United States is truly, in essence, in its original formation, is only within a 10-mile radius of Washington, D.C., which is the District of Columbia. All right. And later, they gave it some more jurisdiction that includes Puerto Rico, Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands, etc., etc. That was only for commercial purposes. You feel me? All right. And then it became a nation when the Moors, well, not necessarily the Moors, the Sultan of Morocco was the first to recognize the corporation as a nation, because the Moors were in bed with the United States. All right, not just the Moors. A lot of our ancestors were in bed with those Black Devils that came here in 1492. So I'm not just going to blame it on the Moors. Okay, so I just want to put that in perspective. You feel me? But I just explained to you what happened in 1865 when slavery was abolished for the descendants of those so-called Black people that came here in the 1400s, in the 1500s, and the 1600s. They did not come from Africa. That's a lie. There was no slave trade coming from Africa. All Africa meant was employment. So the employment or the employees, okay, of these corporations that were created, they were called Africans. Okay, they were called Africans. And I showed you the proof. Only Tunisia was called Africa because that was the first corporation that was created. So therefore, the employees were called Africans. And eventually, due to colonization, it expanded into the entire landmass now called Africa. And I've already shown you a map in 450 BC. It wasn't even called Africa. It was called Libya. So once again, I'm proving my point. You see, I like to show documentation. And when I explain things to people, I like them to know that it's coherent. It makes sense because I'm speaking the truth. So therefore, when these people came into the Americas, obviously the title was African because why? They were employees by these corporations. First, you had the West Indian Company, you had the Dutch West Indian Company, you had the Virginia Company. All this was about commerce. So how did the United States become the last man standing? Well, let me explain to you again, give you the short version because I've already explained that in detail. When you had the three main powers that was supposed to control Iroquois Confederacy for us, Republic for the black people that came from Europe, and United States for their pale children. That was the deal, right? However, because the Iroquois Confederacy was still in control and they could not control the American Indians, the black devils that had the Republic and their pale children decided that, you know what, we have to get rid of the Iroquois Confederacy. So they joined together and started fighting the American Indians to get rid of the Iroquois Confederacy. When it was successful, it was only supposed to be now the Republic and the United States. However, the pale man went behind their backs and started dealing with the American Indians and say, listen, we could get rid of these people, man. These people ain't do you right. They're the ones that came to your land. They raped you. They did this. They did that. I'm just paraphrasing right now, right? So now it would be in your best interest to join us and let's fight them. All right. So a lot of our ancestors now chose the side of the pale man and started fighting not for the pale man, but with the pale man, meaning that they joined together as co-partners and started fighting the people of the Republic. All right. So the United States became the last man standing. However, the deal was we will make the Republic insolvent, but it still exists. It still exists because why? Because the pale children still had to respect their fathers, which were the Republicans, the founding fathers. So the founding fathers were not pale people. The founding fathers were people of color, and their children were the pale people. All right. So the deal was, yes, we will make sure that the Republic rests. We will give our children the power, but we will still be the one that still keep the government as a de jure, meaning that a lawful government. But the de facto government is the United States, and we'll let our children run it. So that's why when you pledge allegiance to the United States, you also pledge allegiance to what? The Republic, because the Republic still exists. It is the lawful, what you call de jure government. And the United States is a de facto, what you call de facto government. All right. So I hope I'm explaining all this. All right. So that you're able to comprehend this. That's why I'm taking my time to break it down. Okay. So once it was established that the United States will be the one to run things, they had to now find a way to re-enslave everybody under an umbrella. And that umbrella was called the birth certificate. In other words, we are going to create a new set of people, regardless of color, regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity. We are going to create one people under God. And you know what God that is, the God of the Bible, which is Satan. Let us create a new form of people through enslavement, but it has to be done with their own free will. Okay? It has to be done with their own free will because why? The God in the Bible gave people free will, but at the same time, he enslaved people. All right? So the point I'm making is I'm showing you that's why there's a Bible in every court. That is the God of the United States, Satan, the God of the Bible. Okay? That's what they pledge allegiance to. That's what they swear to. But that's the same God that enslaved people. Okay? So the birth certificate was the key so that you could enslave yourself voluntarily. All right? So this is what I'm going to take you into right now. I'm into next. All right? Right here. But before the birth certificate, the church was the trap house. That's why I tell people every church, I don't care, all the Abrahamic religions, I don't care what church it is, whether it's Judaism, Islam, or Christianity, all of them got to go. They all got to go. And I'm reaching out to my ancestors to burn each and every one of them. They got to go. All of them got to go. Okay? Because the church was the one that was the trap house. All right? The trap house. I'm talking about millions of children under the age of 5. If they were not recorded globally, birth certificate crisis that more and more countries were starting to pay attention to. All right? That did not happen. But anyway, birth certificates hadn't been around for that long. The birth certificates only came in the, I would say in the 1900s, okay, in 1900, but it wasn't really established until 1902. But here's the deal. Birth certificates hadn't been around that long. The United Kingdom, okay, which was the Great Britain Empire, began recording births in church registers as early as the 1500s. So the Bible was what they were using to record the births. That was the beginning and the foundation of setting up the new form of what we call slaves. So the Bible was used to record all slaves. The Bible was the first census record. The Bible was the first census record. It was the trap house to trap people and get all their information. Date of birth, mother, parents, grandparents, all of that. Your genealogy was put in the Bible. It was done for a reason. That was the first census. Okay? That was the first family tree. It was the Bible. They were setting things up. But it was not compulsory though. Standardized system truly came to exist until 1902, the Act of Congress in the US, which established a permanent agency and standard registration system. All right, for the governments then and now, registering birth keeps track of military, manpower, taxable citizens, and demographic trends. Okay, so that was the reason for introducing the birth certificate. Now, even when they introduced the birth certificates at first, it was a transition. People's names were not in all capital letters. It was proper, it was written in what we call proper, so-called proper grammar. Okay? So what I'm going to show you now, I'm going to show you what's called the, give me 1 second. I'm going to show you what's called the memorandum of law when it comes to a name. All right? The memorandum of law when it comes to a name. Let me break that down for y'all. All right? Like I said, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And I'm not here criticizing you. I'm just letting you know. Okay? You're absolutely welcome, DV3 photography. All right? I'm just letting you know that my people perish for the lack of knowledge, and I'm not faulting you. I'm not mad at you. Okay? My goal is to teach you. So when I say my people perish for the lack of knowledge, it's not because I'm making fun. I am actually pointing out a fact, because what you don't know can hurt you. And also what you know can hurt you as well. It's how you use the knowledge, how you use the information. So with that being said, we're going to go into the memorandum of law when it comes to a name. All right? That's what we're going to do now. Memorandum of law on the name. If we read it right here, okay, right here, and this is the memorandum of law. I just highlighted that in all blue. A proper name based on the New Oxford Dictionary, English Dictionary, a proper name, which is a noun, okay, a name used for an individual, person, place, or thing is spelt with an initial capital letter, example, Jane, London, and Oxfam. As you can see, that's the way it's supposed to be written. The first letter of your name in capital letters and the rest in lowercase. And when it comes to your surname, not your last name, because family comes first. So why would your family name be last? You see, that is a trick of enslavement. They took your family name, and what I call family name, but it's the name of your ancestry or lineage, because family means someone who come from a slave family. And while I'm on here, for the purpose of this lesson, I'm also going to show you that. But let us reiterate, okay? Maximum of a memorandum of law when it comes to a name, meaning that a proper name. So therefore, the name that you have right now is not a proper name. So that's not you. You think it's you, but it's not. And when I teach my people the truth, they look at me like I'm crazy. They make me the enemy. And you can't teach them anything because they have been so indoctrinated. And I'm not saying everybody. Okay. So with that being said, memorandum of law, okay, based on a name, it has to be a proper name, capital letter, first letter, lowercase, etc., then capitalized letter. All right. Boom. That's a proper name. Okay. While we're here, let us go to Google and let us look at the etymology of the word family, which I've already shown you, but for the purpose of this lesson, we are going to show it again to kind of show you why, they introduced the word family. So when they switched the names, now you came from the family of those capital letters, and let me show you what family means. The original meaning of family and an etymology of the word is the original meaning of the word within a certain century. Okay, the energy that it carried. What does it say a family is? A family is the servants of household. End of story. Okay, from Latin, familia, family, servants, domestic, collectively, the servants in a household. Thus, members of a household, estate, property, household, including relatives, servants, etc. So when you say you are of this family, you're saying that you are servants of this household. So these so-called black devils, the nobles, all the people in their household, their servants, all right, was called their family. That was their family, because those were their servants and their slaves. That's what a family is. A family member is a servant or a slave of a household. So for them to create this new construct of slaves, they created families. Okay, families, and they had certificates once your child is born to show that you're coming from the family of, with all capital letters, meaning that now you have not just been a slave, but all your rights have been taken with capital letters, because you are no longer a proper person, meaning that a proper noun. You became a thing. And even with a thing, it's still, because remember, a noun is the name of an animal, person, place, or thing. But you became a thing that is not a proper noun. I hope I am explaining that good enough so you're able to perceive the message and see why the trick was played. And Juneteenth ain't got nothing to do with American Aborigines, which are us. It was only for the black nobles and their servants and their slaves that came here from Europe. Once again, these people did not come from Africa. Okay? So I broke down what family means. What we're going to do now, the transition was now starting to be made. We have to capitalize the names on those birth certificates, because when they first issued that, even in the Bible, the names were not in all capital letters. They were in upper and lower case. That was what's being taught in the memorandum of what we call the law on writing a proper name. So in the Bibles, the name were written in the proper form, but that had to be taken away. Like I said, the church was the trap house. That was the setting up of the foundation of a new type of slave. So they came up with the capitalization of the names. Now you have three different categories of what we call capitis diminutio. Okay, we have three different categories, and I'm going to break them down for you right now. Now I've already done videos, individual videos breaking that down. For the purpose of this lesson, I'm just putting everything into one video right now. Okay, so here we are. We're going to go to the Black's Law Dictionary, and we're going to look at capitis diminutio. Okay, capitis diminutio. Like I said, you could take notes, take copious notes, or you could come back to this video and do your own independent research. Like I told y'all before, every video that I do, I want you to think that I'm telling a lie. I want you to think that I don't know what I'm talking about, because that would give you encouragement to do your own research and come prove me wrong. But I promise you, you won't be able to do that, because I'm telling you the truth. Needless to say, I still would like you to do your own research and do your own due diligence. Let us talk about capitis diminutio. Okay, this is the Black's Law, definition and citations. In Roman law, just so you know, we are still dealing with a Roman system. We are still under Rome. When I say we, I'm talking about the United States, the world pretty much is still under Rome. Okay? A diminishing, pay attention to capitis diminutio. In Roman law, a diminishing or abridgment of personality. Okay? They are altering your person. Teals was a loss or curtailment of a man's status or aggregate of legal attributes and qualifications following upon certain changes in his civil condition. Now, a change in the civil condition of the American Aborigine was calling him black, was calling him Negro, was calling him colored, was calling him African American. Now, that is a change in your civil condition. Due to that change, then you became a capital or capital letter, which is not you, but that was a change in your civil condition. I'm going to read that again because I want you to really see what I'm talking about. In Roman law, a diminishing or abridgment of personality and alteration to your person. Okay? Now, keep in mind that your body is what's considered the person, not the I in you, meaning that the true soul. The soul is not the person or your personality. Okay? It's your physical body. That's the person. All right? Teals was a loss or curtailment of a man's status or aggregate of legal attributes and qualifications following upon certain changes in his civil condition. Now we are dealing with a man. And when we speak of man, we are talking about the feminine man or the masculine man. All right. But you are no longer a masculine man or a feminine man. You are what's called a legal person. Okay. It works from three kinds, enumerated as follows. We have capitis diminutio maxima. That is the maximum level of losing your civil rights, is the highest and the most comprehensive loss of status. This occurred when a man's condition changed from one of freedom to one of bondage. When he became a slave, it swept away with it all rights of citizenship and all family rights. Okay? That meant all your name is in capital letters. That's what it means. So when you look at your birth certificate, your driver's license, your bill, you fall under the category of what we call capitis diminutio maxima. That is the highest form of losing all your rights. And you did that voluntarily. Nobody forced our mothers. Well, at first, they did it, but eventually it became a thing where our mothers, which is called the informant, okay, went and informed the slave masters, the government, hey, a child, I now have a child, I have a piece of property, I would like it to turn it over to you. So I need a certificate as proof to show that I gave you, pardon me, to show that I gave you my son or daughter, and now you could turn them into a legal person or what's called a legal slave. All right. And that is facts. You feel me? So that's the highest form of losing all your rights once saying that you are the capital letter. The second one is a lesser version, kind of like midway. That's why it's called media. When you deal with media or mid, it's halfway. All right. So capitis diminutio media, a lesser or a medium loss of the status. This occurred where a man lost his rights of citizenship, but without losing his liberty. In the first one, you lost your liberty and your rights. But in the middle, okay, medium, it means that you lost your citizenship, but not your liberty. Okay? So you're no longer a citizen of that corporation institute that was created, but you still have liberty. You could still talk. You could still move around. You could do things on your own free will. Okay? It carried away also the family rights. It took away the family rights as well. So the rights of the slaves, their rights were gone. Then you have the least effective one, which is capitis diminutio minima. It is the tile lowest or less comprehensive degree of loss of status. This occurred where a man's family relations alone were changed. Okay? It happened upon arrogation of a person who had been his own master. Okay? Sui juris, or upon the emancipation of one who had been under the patria potestas in left rights of liberty and citizenship unaltered. Okay, so I'm giving you the different breakdowns of the form of giving up your rights, because capitis diminutio maxima is the maximum, which is the all capital letters, which everybody's under right now. So therefore, everybody is a slave. So slavery was never abolished. Okay, it was never abolished. They actually took, all they took away was involuntary servitude. But now they have voluntary servitude or slavery because people are volunteering themselves into slavery. That was the trick that was and is being played, because now you think you are the capital letters. All right, let us stop sharing this. So far, if all of this is making sense and we are on the same page, do me a favor, please, and type some nines. Type some nines, please. Let me see you drop some nines in the chat if all of this is coherent, and now you could see in your mind a broader picture as to how all this happened, why it's happening, and why we are still in the situation that we're in. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Supreme health and wealth. All right, so a lot of you are getting this and you are seeing the bigger picture of what all this means. Okay, it's a trick that's being played on the people because of their ignorance. All right, that's what it is. Like I said, don't believe anything that I say. Do your own research and prove me wrong. You feel me? Let us proceed. So I broke down Juneteenth, what Juneteenth was about, and who Juneteenth was literally for. Before I move on, Juneteenth had nothing to do with us, American Aborigines, the copper-colored races in the Americas. That was only for the Black people that came here in between the 1400s and the 1700s from Europe. A very minimum of people came directly from Africa, literally no more than 1 million, if so much. I would say 500,000 for the most, if so much. So all the 12 million of slaves coming from Africa is a lie. All right. Those people were coming from Europe and they were not from Africa. And it wasn't even up in the millions like that. And that's facts. Okay. So that was what Juneteenth was about. Also, it also included some pale-skinned people, but the majority of the pale-skinned people did not come until the 1900s, coming mostly through Ellis Island and what we call the Angels, the City of Angels. Okay, because that's what it meant, coming from California into the Americas. All right. So that's when the majority of the pale people came within millions and millions and millions. And they came here as poor servants, poor people. Okay? But it has nothing to do with us. Juneteenth has nothing to do with us, the American Aborigines. However, it has everything to do with African Americans and Black people. Okay? Now, that may confuse you here for a second. Don't let it confuse you, because I'm not Black. I'm not African American. Those are only for the people who identify as Black or African American, even if that's crazy to me, because you are still calling yourself a slave. All right. How can you celebrate your emancipation, but you're calling yourself Black, which means slave? You're calling yourself African American, which also means slave. You feel me? So all these things is voluntary. You did. You are the one making yourself a slave. Nobody but you. Let us go into what's called the Indian Citizen Act of 1924, and I'm going to break that down to prove and show to you that regardless of what happened or what was going on, we as the American Aborigines, aka American Indians, we were always an independent and a distinct people. This is where a major move was made, all right, to take away our sovereignty and make us United States citizens. Okay, that was done during the Indian Citizen Act or Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. All right, that was with the 68th Congress. Let us read. 60th Congress of the United States of America, at the first session, began and held the city of Washington on Monday, the 3rd day of December, 1923. All right, that's when the session started, but the act itself was passed in 1924. An act to authorize the Secretary of Interior, okay, to issue certificate of citizenships for Indians. Now, that at that point was voluntary at one point, but then they started forcing it on our people, okay? And our people wanted to assimilate because they wanted the benefits of the citizens of the United States. So what they were doing, it's like they're telling you it's not mandatory, okay? You have a choice to choose to be a citizen or not. But they made it so hard on our ancestors where our ancestors could not live. Because why? They were taxing their land. They were taking our children. You could not give your children American Indian names. However, if you became a citizen, then you would get privileges to do certain things. So our ancestors were put in a predicament, not be a citizen of the United States. In other words, not be a part of the American Indian Citizen Act. All right. And faced with discrimination in all sorts of ways, or we could accept being United States citizens. The problem was, if they had known, or if they were educated enough to know, they could have been United States citizens but still reserve their rights to be American Indians. But they didn't know that. Nobody taught them that. So that's why the pen is mightier than the sword, because our ancestors, our ancestors never lost a physical war. They lost the war on paper. Hence, the term came up. The pen is mightier than the sword. They were tricked on paper. Paper genocide. You feel me? Let us read. What does it say? Be it enacted by the Senate and House of the Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled that all non-citizen Indians born within the territorial limits of the United States be and they are hereby declared to be citizens of the United States, provided, my brothers and sisters, provided is a condition. You see, people don't read with understanding. Provided. Let me read this again and come back to provided, because we have to realize that provided is a condition. All right? Give me 1 second here. All right. Before I proceed, I want to show you what provided means, because I want this to be very, very clear. Okay, because like I said, when I'm teaching, I want to be able to teach that to a child so a child could comprehend exactly what I'm talking about. This is the reason why they call my people minorities. They are not calling you a minority because you are a minor in number. No, they're calling you a minority, which means a minor, a child, because you don't know these things. Okay? That's why they're calling you a minor. So when I teach to minors, the child, all right, who's innocent, who don't know these things, who are ignorant of those things. So it's no disrespect, all right? Let me go show you the definition of provided. Provided. Here we are. Provided is a condition. Here we go. Provided on the condition or understanding that. All right. So all the American Indians, they were made citizenship of the United States, provided that on the condition or understanding that you comprehend this. Okay. There is a stipulation in that bill or that contract. It was a contract. Okay. It was a contract that was made. Let's go back to the Indian Citizen Act of 1924. I just want to show you what provided means. Let's go back to the Indian Citizen Act of 1924. So let us read this again so that you may be able to comprehend this a little with more clarity, okay? Because that word is key. That word is key. As you could see, look at how it was written. It was italicized, okay? It is key, meaning that it has to be stand out, okay? Or it stood out, so to speak. Let's read this again. Be it enacted, all right? So therefore, enacted means that an action was taken, something was done. And by whom? By the Senate and House of the Representative of the United States in Congress. Okay, that was it was a move was made. It was enacted. Okay, now from the enactment, what happened? What's supposed to happen? This is what's supposed to happen: that all non-Indian citizens, so therefore there were Indians who were not citizens of the United States. All right, born within the territorial. Now it was only within the territorial limits of the United States. And they are hereby declared. Now a declaration was being made, just like how the United States made their Declaration of Independence. They're making another declaration on behalf of the Indians and making them citizens of the United States, but on a condition: provided, okay, I'm going to highlight that word again, provided a condition that by granting such citizenship, in other words, by giving you the right to be a citizen of our corporation, okay, it shall not, key words, it shall not in any manner impair. What does it mean impair means? Impair means to challenge, not challenge, but to change, to alter. That's what impair means: to alter or otherwise, in any form, affect the right of any Indian to tribal or other property. So my question to you, my brothers and sisters, since we know that we are the American Indians and they force us directly and indirectly to be citizens of the United States, but they gave a provision, provided that it did not impair or affect us in any way by our tribal or other property, we cannot be citizens of the United States. So by default, we are not. Why? Because it did impair. It did impair, okay? It did alter us as being Indians by calling us Black, African American, taking our land and taking our property, which are also our children, and making them citizens. Therefore, we are not citizens of the United States. So that's why so-called Black people are dealing with what they're dealing with, because they are not even citizens of the United States, and they're even no longer American Indians. Oh my goodness. Now, can somebody please drop some nines if you get what's going on right now? Because I'm breaking this down to y'all so you could see why our people are dealing with what they're dealing with. They're literally Black, Salivite Matus, dead in law. They're not American Indians, and they are not citizens of the United States. Even if it says so, they are not. It only appears that you are a citizen of the United States, but you are not. You feel me? It is all an illusion. It is a trick. We are being played. We have been bamboozled. It's all in the language, my people. It's all in the language. You have to be able to read these things and know exactly what they are talking about. So they took away, okay? They took away our American Indian status, okay? Made us American citizens. Okay, United States, not American, but United States citizens, but they put a provision in there. They said that you're only a United States citizen if, okay, it doesn't impair you being an Indian. If it doesn't alter you being an Indian. It did alter us being Indians because they took away that from us and call us Black and colored. So therefore, it means that you are no longer a citizen of the United States. So my question to my brothers and sisters, if you are not a citizen of the United States and you're not an American Indian, what are you? Guess what you are? African and Black, which is the same thing. And all African means is employment, an employee. Man, listen, y'all think this is a game. Let's proceed. All right, let's proceed. We are going to go into the Indian Civil Rights Act of 1968, okay? Because they're now pushing you further into what we call more jurisdiction of the corporation. All these things had nothing to do with Native Americans. These fools that had nothing to do with them. Not even the civil right, not even the American Indian citizens, civil right of 1968 had nothing to do with them. Okay, these thieves, they were put in place because a void was created, a hole was created, and they had to put somebody in place. All right, and that's where these natives, these thieves came in. They are not the original people of the land, and they know this. And I'm exposing all of it. And any one of them could come challenge me in court or on national TV. And I'm going to promise you, I'm going to show you where they came from. I got my facts. All right. Let us go. Look at the Indian Civil Rights Act. Boom. Here we are. Okay. The Indian Civil Rights Act. I'm just going to read a little bit of that to show you that it was a general provision that was made to give the American Indians, even still, all in all, we were still fighting to maintain our American Indian status, right? So a Civil Rights Act was passed because our ancestors knew that they were being tricked. So they were still fighting, even if they had to eventually fight under the banner of being black in the 1970s. Before 1970, our people were not being called black. Okay? I mean, they tried it in the past, but it never stuck. So they had to put James Brown to solidify that. But even James Brown said, I did not call my people black because they were black. No, it was just a movement of what the people gathered under a banner of being called black. But James Brown knew he wasn't black. All right? So let us read. The Indian Citizen Act of 1968, right? This is ICRA 25 U.S. Code Section 1301-1304 provides as follows, right? 1301 definitions. For the purpose of his of this subchapter, the term Indian tribe means any tribe, band, or other group of Indians subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and recognized as possessing powers of self-government. Let's read this again and let us break this down to see exactly what an Indian tribe means, okay? Indian tribe means any tribe. So any tribe is an Indian tribe, right? A band or a group of Indians. Let's stop here. That key word right here is subject. Subject means that you are under the jurisdiction. So subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. If you're not under the subject of the United States, they will not consider you an Indian tribe. You see how they're taking? You see how they're slowly taking away our rights to be called Indians or have our tribes. If you are not a subject or under the jurisdiction of the United States, then you are not considered in other words, they're taking control of who an Indian is or what an Indian is not. And that's in 1968, right? Because they are pushing our people into the realm of becoming black and African American. Number two, powers of self-government means and includes all governmental powers possessed by any Indian tribe, executive, legislature, and judicial, and all offices, bodies, and tribunals by and through which they are executed, including courts of Indian offenses, and means the inherent power of Indian tribes hereby recognized and affirmed to exercise criminal jurisdiction over all Indians. But keep in mind, even if we still have that power of self-governance, you would still have to be considered an Indian tribe based on the United States definition. So they're still limiting that. Okay? Number three, Indian court. Indian court means any tribal court or court of Indians offense, and for Indian, which is what an Indian means now. Indian means any person who would be subject, you see, there we go again, who would be subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Because for you to be an Indian, they want to make sure they put you under the jurisdiction of the United States. It still doesn't negate the fact that we are the American Indians, but we are voluntary signing these documents, okay? Just to assimilate, to become citizens of the United States. We are slowly but surely giving up our sovereignty. Okay? So an Indian means any person who would be subject to the United States as an Indian under Section 1153, Title 19, United States Code, if that person were to commit an offense, etc., 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 etc. Okay? That is the Indian Civil Rights Act of 1968. Our people are still fighting to maintain being American Indians, but the United States is still pushing back now. For you to be an Indian, you got to be a citizen. But how can I be a citizen when in 1924 you give me that provision saying that I could only be, if I'm an Indian and I want to be a citizen of the United States, then you make me a citizen of the United States, but provided that it does not alter me being an American Indian. But guess what? It altered that, because you're starting to call me black and colored and all these things. So therefore, by default, I'm not an American, I'm not a United States citizen. I am still an American Indian. But now in 1968, you're trying to still take that away from me and still forcing me to be an American, I mean, a United States citizen. So for me to be an Indian, I have to be under the jurisdiction of your powers. My brothers and sisters, I hope you see what's going on, because I'm taking my time and breaking all this down to you. Okay? Breaking it down. Breaking it down to you. All right? Yes, exactly. So with all that going on, here comes the BIA, okay? The BIA now is which is the Bureau of Indian Affairs. They are the ones that's literally separating the wheat from the shaft. What do I mean by that? They are determining now who is an Indian, okay? And because there's a void to be filled, they started enlisting or accepting $5 Indians. It doesn't matter what you look like. Pay $5, get on the rolls, and you will be called an American Indian. That's why today you see all these pale natives as Indians. They are $5 Indians. Not all of them. A lot of them were put in place as a placeholder to replace us, but the majority of them, especially of the pale races, they are literally Caucasians, so-called white people, pale people. They are $5 Indians. They are not American Indians. However, they are native. All native means is to be born. Okay? Let us go into another aspect of the Indian civil rights of 1968. All right? And I'm going to prove something to y'all once more, because I like to show and prove. Documentation beats conversation. The same Indian Civil Rights Act of 1968. Civil Rights Acts of 1968. Let's read a little bit. The Civil Rights Act of 1968, okay, enacted April 11th, 1968, is a landmark law in the United States, signed into law by United States President Lyndon B. Johnson during the King's assassination riots. Titles 2 through 7 comprise the Indian Civil Rights Act, which applies to Native American tribes of the United States and makes many, but not all, of the guarantees of the United States Bill of Rights applicable within the tribes. But let us go look at underneath the flag and seal. It says, long title, an act to prescribe personalities for certain acts of violence or intimidation and for other possesses. Look at the nicknames. Okay, Indian Civil Rights Acts, Indian Bill of Rights, Fair Housing Act, Housing Right Act, Open Housing Act, Anti-Riot Act, Federal Anti-Riot Act, Rap Brown Act, Rap Brown Law, Civil Obedience Act, Stokely Carmichael Act. All right. Let us go look at now some images that deal with Indian Civil Rights Acts, not black, but Indian Civil Rights, because I'm here to prove my point once more. Here we go. Okay, we are still going to prove my point. Okay, here we are. This is what we're going to do. So now that we know the Civil Rights Act deals with Indian Civil Rights Act, right? You will see that all the civil rights movements, when you show images, you'll realize, ask yourself this question. When have you seen any Native Americans? Okay, ask yourself this question. Pay attention to what I'm asking you. Ask yourself, when have you seen any Native Americans protesting in the streets for any type of civil rights? Never. Everything with them was done behind the scenes. Okay, it was done behind the scenes. So when we're dealing with any type of Civil Rights Act, you will see pictures of people of color. People of color. All where you go, the Fair Housing Act, all those different acts, you deal with people of color. Look, we have Lyndon B. Johnson right there. It's people of color. For all you Native Americans who think the Indian Citizen Act is about you, why weren't you in the streets like our people? Why weren't you fighting like our people? Because it had nothing to do with you. You culture vultures, you thieves. It ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Okay, you are not the original American Indians. In fact, you're not even American Indians. You are Native American. Not even the Native Americans. You are Native United States citizens. You are not Americans. Okay? And our people need to stop this foolishness and this nonsense calling these people Indians or even associating American to Native. Okay? You see, y'all perish because of the lack of knowledge. So as you could see, this is all about us. Obviously, they put a few actors. They put a few actors in play to make it seem like it was about the pale Indians, but no, they were all actors. This has always been about the people of color. It has always been about this. Okay? It has always been about us fighting to remain indigenous. You dig? And we had to go through all of this. And our ancestors literally tried their best to hold on, give us the little clues. They kept fighting. With that being said, what I'm going to do now, what I was going to show you, it just slipped me. It's going to come back. I was going to show, oh yeah, I've showed you this before, but I'm going to show it to you again. Etymology of indigenous, just to break that down. Okay? To show you there are two types of indigenous people. Let us break this down. Etymology of indigenous, right? Give me 1 second. Let's go on the all. Because when you talk about indigenous people, they only show you a bunch of pale-skinned people. All right? Let us go under what indigenous means, because everybody is indigenous. And I'm going to break that down to y'all. All right? The etymology of the word indigenous, it says born or. You feel me? Or. All right then. A lot of people miss that. Born or originating in a particular place, period. Stop right here. Let's break that down. There are two categories. In fact, there are three categories of indigenous people. Three categories. I'm going to break it down to you right now. The very first one is born. So that's who these natives are. They are born. Okay? They are born. So therefore, they are indigenous as well. Even with the United Nations, they don't have a clear or definitive meaning of what an indigenous individual are. So they left it up to the individual. Why? Because that's the game that's being played. We are going to give you the choice to call yourself indigenous, because under the banner or the definition or the meaning of indigenous, one of the meanings is to be born. So therefore, somebody could be as pale as Elvis Presley is also a native, is also indigenous. Brad Pitt could be indigenous. Angela Jolie could be indigenous, because all it means is to be born. You see how we're being tricked? Let me give you the second meaning of indigenous. It means originating, which deals with the American Aborigines. You see, they are born, but they are not originating. That is the second category. And the third category is both born and originating. So therefore, we are born and originating, but they are only born, but not originating, but they are still indigenous. Man, I keep telling y'all, man, the trickery is crazy, man. The trickery is crazy. For those of you who are actually getting this, do me a favor, type some sevens in the chat right now, man. Type some sevens in the chat, because this is ridiculous. And too many of us are too blind to see it, because we are not being taught the truth. So now we are accepting these natives, which only means to be born. We are accepting them as the original people of the Americas when they are not. They are only born. They are not originating. And we have to stand up and challenge all these things. I'm not saying go out here attacking people. That's not what I'm saying. The pen is mightier than the sword. Let them prove that we are not the American Aborigines. Let them prove it. Show us proof that we came from Africa. Okay? And even if some of your forefathers are the founding forefathers, guess what? We had a matrilineal system. So therefore, your mother was an aborigine. So that makes you an aboriginal. So if you were to be called anything, you should have been called a European American and not an African American, because our ancestors did not come from Africa. For those of you whose ancestors came from Europe, if anything, you would have been a European American. Okay? If you were to be called anything, not African. They tricked you. They tricked us. Okay? Now that we know what indigenous really means, let us go in further emphasizing and proving my point, taking us back to the birth certificate and capitis maxima, capitis diminutio maxima with all capital letters. Let us go verify and prove what the United States is, because they are forcing us to be citizens of the United States. Okay? Where the truth is you still have an option. But because the option is, if you don't want to be a citizen of the United States, then you will not have the privileges. So the only reason why we are being United States citizens is to have the privileges. But if we truly comprehend our rights, we could still be United States citizens and reserve our rights and not lose our American Indian sovereignty, and still be able to utilize the benefits and privileges of the United States. But you see, we are not coming together to put those things in motion. So now you have individuals trying to do it, and their children are being taken away. They're being arrested. All these things are happening to them because why? They are doing it by themselves. There is no unity. Okay? Let us, for the purpose of this video again, which I've already shown you on many occasions, all right? Title 28, Section 3002, subsection 15. Let us go see what the United States mean. Let's go all the way down to 15. United States, what does it mean? United States means, and I'm not the one making this up, a federal corporation. There's no such thing as a federal government. It is a corporation. Okay? It is a corporation. Okay? It is a corporation. It is a business. And your birth certificate is your certificate of incorporation to show that you are a part of the business. Now, I don't want you to believe anything that I say. I want you to always think when Chief Kalinago does a video, he's telling a lie, and I want to prove him wrong. Okay, so please, not because you think I'm a liar, but because you think the information is not correct. I want you to do your own due diligence. That's the only purpose I am asking you to think that I'm not telling the truth about this information. All right? Now that you see, again, for the purpose of this lesson, what United States means. It means a federal corporation. Let us go look at what a United States business is, because now I'm about to bring this into fruition, into its 360. All right? Let's go. Wow. Let us go here. Boom. Now this is US Code 15. All right, section 4724. I think that's what it is. All right. What does it say? In fact, let's go all the way up and see what title it is. Title 15. Title 15 US Code section 4724. Let us go all the way down to A. Let's go all the way down to E, to A, I think section I. Let us go all the way down. All the way down. All right. What does it say? E, not A, but E. Definition as used in this section. The term United States business means what? A United States citizen. So what you are? Aren't you a United States citizen? That means you are a what? A United States business. See how I just brought how there's no such thing as Juneteenth emancipation of slavery? No. They put these people right back into slavery by making them a United States citizen. And what's a United States citizen? A United States business. A corporation, a partnership, or other association created under law of the United States, which are not laws, they are statutes and codes of any state, including what? The District of Columbia or any Commonwealth territory or possession of the United States or a foreign corporation partnership anyway. All that's irrelevant. The bottom line is this. A United States citizen is a corporation. A United States business is a United States citizen, which is a corporation. My brothers and sisters, you see how I just brought all of this back into a 360, took you from the beginning, show you that Juneteenth is a bunch of BS, but you have all these Negropeans, yes, okay? You have all these Negropeans out here, okay, celebrating this foolishness. You did. Okay? So when our children were born, what we were supposed to do was, which is what all of them are doing, we were supposed to have what you call, for example, we were supposed to create what's called a DBA, all right, doing business as. So as soon as our children were born, we were supposed to get them a DBA and use the TIN number to do anything in that name, because that capital letter is not our children. That is not them. Okay, it is not them. So therefore, we were supposed to get a certificate of incorporation with an EIN saying that they are doing business as a DBA. So now the first and the surname, all right, which is the surname is the first name, which is your name of your lineage, okay, not your family, because family is slave, okay? Therefore, they would have been doing business under that TIN and not a social security number. You feel me? So therefore, your child or your son or your daughter would not be under the jurisdiction of the corporation, but only the business, which is the DBA doing business as. You see, nobody taught our people these things. You feel me? But you are doing business as the first and last name, and you have no last name. Okay? You have no last name. You are a businessman. Now, with that being said, I'm going to continue to show you how these things are being played. All right? Let us go now look at a few etymologies. All right? And then I will conclude. Let me go ahead and share my screen. We're going to look at a few etymologies. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the etymology of republic or Republican. Now, I'm not into politics, okay? What you have to realize is politics. Let me write it down for you. Politics. You will see that it's a compound word in a sense, right? You have poly, and poly means many, and you have ticks. Now, a tick is a blood-sucking animal, all right, or a blood-sucking insect, rather, okay? That's a tick. So when you talk about politics, in essence, it means that many ticks are sucking your blood, because that's what poly means. Poly means many, as in polygamous, all right? Many partners, many wives or husband, okay? So poly means many, and ticks, a tick is a blood-sucking insect. So when you're dealing with politics, you're dealing with vampirish people that are sucking your blood, regardless of whether they're Republican or Democrat. The only thing is the Republican is the lesser of the evil. All right. And Republican did not start in the United States. That came all the way from Europe, because the first Republicans were people of color across the seas. They were the founders of, they were the four founders of the four founding fathers of the Republic. And they were people of color. So with that being said, we're going to look at the etymology of Republican. Okay? Republican. All right? Or Republic first. So we're going to look at the etymology of Republic. Okay? A state in which supreme or executive power rests in the people. Okay? Republic. State in which supreme or executive power rests in the people via representative chosen by citizen entitled. That is republic. Let us look at Democrat. 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 That is 1790. As you could see, republic goes back to the 1600s. Like I told y'all before, the first Republicans were people of color from Europe that came here. All right. It was only later in 1790, which was when the first census was taken, the concept of democracy came up. Okay. Adherent or advocate of democracy, with reference to France from French Democrat. Let us go look at, it says, see, democracy. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go down the rabbit hole to show you what democracy means. Not that I'm saying republic is where we should, Republican. I'm not here to advocate any parties. They are both dealing with politics, many ticks sucking your blood. All right. But the Republicans are the lesser of the evil, but they are two evils. Let us trace down the rabbit hole of democracy. Democracy, what is it? Government by the people, okay? By the people, system of government in which the sovereign power is vested in the people as a whole, exercising power directly by their elected officials. All right. So in essence, it seems like it's the same, but it's not. In a republic, the people have complete sovereignty. Okay. In a democracy, yes, they have some type of sovereignty, but it's invested, okay, in the people that are elected by them. So the people that you use as your electors or governments, they are the one that truly holds the sovereignty and not you. All right. But what we're going to do is we're going to go down the rabbit hole of democracy and see where that word came from. All right. So it is from Greek, demokratia, popular government from demos, common people, originally district. Now we are going originally before it became all of that. And let's go into demotic. All right. Let us see where that word came from and what energy it carries. What does it say? Demotic, of or belonging to the people, especially pertaining to the common people, popular, vulgar, 1822, of common people, use, common people, originally district, pie, whatever, whatever, whatever. But what is the root of that word? Demotic, where democracy or Democrat came from demotic. Demotic came from da hyphen. Okay. So what we're going to do now, we are going to click on the original, which means DA slash. It means to what? Divide. Okay. So you see what democracy means? It means to divide. Let us go into the foundation and the root of DA, because that's where all those words came from. That's their source, their origin, the mother of the word. Da. What does it say? Meaning to divide. Okay? To divide. It means in all forms, all or in part. So democracy means to divide. You did. It says betide, daemon. Let us go look at all these words individually, because we are going to break down exactly what a democracy is. Betide. First, it says to happen, to come to pass. All right? That's all it means, to happen, to come to pass. Let's go back to the next one. Daemon. Okay? Daemon. Daemon. A transliteration of Greek daemon, a lesser god, a spirit, tutelary, a deity. It says, see what? See demon. All right, then I'm showing you who the Democrats are. They are demons. They are spirits. What's a spirit? A spirit is a ghost. But don't worry about it. We're just getting started. Let's see where daemon comes from. A daemon. A daemon, 12th century. We're even going back before the 1600s. An evil spirit. That's who the Democrats are. An evil spirits, malignant supernatural being, an incubus or a devil. Now, when we look at politics, what's incubus? Somebody who's an incubus is always sucking your energy. What does politics means? Poly means many, ticks means many insects sucking your blood, and incubus, an evil, a devil. And when you read all the way down, what does it say? The root of the word is what? It takes us right back to da, to divide. You feel me? Now, when we go all the way down, okay, you'll see that a demon comes down in Christianity. It says the malignant sense is because of Greek word, blah, 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 in Christian Greek translation and Vulgate for God of the heathen, heathen idol, and also for the unclean spirit. Okay, demonis or demon. You feel me? That is who a Democrat is. Okay, absolutely. Sophia, low vibrational parasitic entities. All right. So when you put these Democrats in power, that's the energy that you get. Okay. But people, of course, they're going to see that and they're still going to miss that. All right. Because people don't want the truth. They want to remain slaves. Let's go back. So now we know where daemon came from. It comes from demon. All right. So we go into Democles or whatever the case is, right? What does it say? Flattering courtier of Dionysus, a tyrant. So when you're dealing with, also you're dealing with Democrats, you're dealing with what? Tyrants, not just tyrants, but evil, succubus, viperish, evil, low vibrational entities. All right? All right. It all goes back to what? Demotic, which brings us back to Da. Let's go back. We have deal the verb, and we have deal the noun, right? It means what? Deal means to divide, to distribute, to separate. Okay? To separate. All right, let's go back. In part of portion, we have what's called a demagogue. All that's also dealing with Democrats. Demagogue. What does that mean? Demagogue, an unprincipled popular orator or a leader. You see that? An unprincipled. These people have no principle. So when they come on stage talking and let you hear all this, an orator is ones who speak through words. That's an orator. Okay? To do what? One who seeks to obtain political power by pandering to the prejudice, wishes, ignorance, and passions of the people or part of them. You see, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. What does it say? A popular leader, also a leader of a mob. It takes us right back to what? Demons, devils. My goodness. Wow. Then we have demiurge, all that deals with Democrats. Okay? Demiurge, Latinized, literally public or skilled worker for the people, that works from Aragon, Okay? It still deals with Democrat. Okay? When we come down, what does it say? In the Gnostic system, conceived as a being subordinate to supreme beings. Who are the supreme being? We are. And they're subordinate to us, but we don't know that. So we made them superior. Okay? Demiurge. Let us go back. Oh, where did I have that? Hold up. Did I demotic and I think I skipped a couple of all right, here we are. Boom. So we did, then we have democracy. We know democracy goes back to, okay, it goes back to Da. We have demography. What is the meaning of demography? That branch of anthropology which studies life conditions of people by its vital and social statistics. So now we're dealing with censuses, right? Dealing with demography. You see how everything ties into play, going back to a democracy, a devilish system, okay? Because it goes back to what? Demotic would take us all the way back to Da. Let us go back. We have demon comes on the democracy, okay? Demon. Come on, man. Demon. Demon. An evil spirit. Malignant super being. And incubus, we already read that, okay? Comes on the daemon as well. We have demotic, it goes back. We have dull, endemic. Guess what Democrat means as well? Epidemic. Uh-oh. I don't think they want to hear the truth, Chief. Guess what? Epidemic. Common to affecting a whole people originally and usually, though not etymologically in reference to disease, but still epidemic disease. Okay? All right. We're dealing with Democrats. You demonic. You demonic. You demonic. Producing happiness. I'm conducive to happiness. Happiness, blah, blah, blah. It goes back to you because that's what you means. You means with happiness. But demon goes back to devil. So it means happy devils. That's what it means. Happy devils. A guardian, genius. Okay, the guardian of the devils, the demons. All right? Putting all this in perspective. Then we have geodesy, ordeal. Then we have pandemic. All that means, all that deals with Democrats. Incident to a whole people origin. Pertaining to all the people. Pan, demos. Okay? People. Demotic. That's what it means. So we have pan plus demos. We know what demos means, and demos means demon. What does pan means? Pan means a word forming element which means all, a whole. So we're talking about all the demons. So I just broke down what Democrats and who Democrats are. All right? And that's it. Exactly. You're absolutely right, my D. If we don't vote, we are not black, we are not African Americans. It's only when you vote, okay? It's only when you vote. That's why every 4 years, you heard Obama said, right? Obama said, listen, the American people cannot govern themselves. If they could, then they wouldn't need us every 4 years. The man told y'all the truth. Man, this is crazy, y'all. It is literally crazy. But like I said, man, all I could do is give y'all the truth. That's it. And I'm going to show you what vote means. You're pledging your allegiance to a God, the God of the Bible, and those people are doing the work of the God of the Bible, which is actually Satan. I've already proven that, so we don't have to get into that conversation right now. But let me show you what vote is. So every 4 years you go to the poll, this is what you do. Formal expression of one's wish or choice with regard to a proposal, a candidate, etc. From Latin, votum, a vow, a wish, a promise to a god, a solemn pledge, dedication, noun, use of neter, of votos, past participle, whatever. Anyway, a promise, a dedicate, a vow. All right. So you are the ones making a promise, not them. They got y'all tricked. It's reversed. Okay. It's a trick. It's a trick. They're tricking us. You are the one making the vow. You are the one making the proposal. You are the one making a pledge. It's a promise to a God saying that we are going to make you Lord and God over us. Man, listen. This is sad, man. Well, you know, people do it because of the lack of ignorance. You see, it's being promoted. You feel me? That was the problem. Our nationality is the truth of the matter is this. We don't, the only, and even with the people outside of the United States, right? They have nationalities. For instance, right? I am not a citizen of the United States. I was born in Dominica. I am still a citizen of Dominica because I have a Dominican passport. I still have a birth certificate from Dominica. The problem is, even the islanders, okay, so-called out of the United States, they are still corporate entities because the original name for Dominica is Weti Kubuli. You feel me? So therefore, even by me calling myself a Dominican, it still means that I'm part of a corporation because Dominica is a nation state. You feel me? So yes, my passport say that my nationality is Dominican, but it still deals with nation states. So to answer your question, what is our nationality? That is subjective. Okay. I would say what is our race? Our race is American. But the truth of the matter is we have no nationality. And that's a fact. Okay. Every if your family is from Virginia, if Virginia is the original name of that place, then your nationality is Virginian. If you're from California, and California is the original name of that place or that territory, then your nationality is Californian. Okay? So we as a distinct people, we have to come together and create our nationality. We have a race. Our race is American. That's our race. Okay? That's our race. So I am just being honest and tell you the truth. A lot of us may not want to hear the truth, but I'm telling you the truth. Okay? All right? This is what it is. All right, let me see, what do we have here? So I think we good. I've given y'all enough information. Yeah, here we go again. I keep telling you, it's always the culture vultures. Look at what this idiot posts, right? Bro, you need to get some professional help and also stop wearing that First Nations garb. Cultural appropriation is just plain wrong and a little bit racist. You see, my brothers and sisters, that's what happens when we start speaking the truth. Okay? That's what happens. All right? And these people will never show their face. I promise you. Why don't you come with me on a live and prove me wrong? Culture appropriation. We're not Native Americans. We're not. All a native means is to be born. You were created by the United States. The United States is your father and mother. The United States met my people here. But the United States did not meet you here. They created you. Okay? You are nothing but a child of the United States. All right? And that's what these people do. All right? That's what they do, because our people are falling for the trick that they are Africans. I need some professional help. Okay. I hear you. I don't need your help though. Let me see if I could find something here real quick. Okay? Uh-huh. Let me see if I could find something. Give me 1 second. Let me see if that's where I'm looking. Pull up. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. I'm trying to find something here. YouTube. Give me 1 second here, Lineage. Don't worry about it. The truth is going to come out. The truth will all come out. I promise you. It will. It will come out. And all of y'all will bow down and apologize. I promise you. Watch. You will. Eventually you will. You will. Let me see if I could find. They never want to show their face. That's the problem. Or they hide behind the scenes. Let me see if I could find this idiot. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I can't find that fool. But anyway, let me stop. I was trying to find to see if I could see the person's face. You dig? Yeah. Y'all always want to try to come up against us when we're speaking the truth, huh? But it's all good though. It's all good. Okay? It's all good. We're gonna make it happen though. All right? All right? Oh, trust me, I'm not worried about them. Okay? I'm not worried about them. But anyway, lineage, I'm about to get out of here. All right. I just wanted to break all these things down to y'all. Okay. And like I said, we got things to do, we got moves to make. As soon as I come back from traveling, I'm going to Dominica on the 27th of this month. When I come back, I'm going to London to see my grandmother. She turned 93. And my grandmother is 93 years old. Okay. Literally all my grandmothers, they lived over 90 years old. All right. And my grandmother is 90 years old. And she has never told me of any slave stories. Never told me of any slave stories. I'm going to go see my nana. She's 93. So think about it, right? Let's do the math here for a second. Okay? Let me show you something. Let me show y'all something real quick. Let's go to Google. Let's do an online calculator. Let me just show y'all something. Okay? Let's do an online calculator here for a second. Because my grandmother, she knew her grandmother, and her grandmother never told her she was a slave from Africa. So let us do a little math here for a second, right? We in 2023, right? 2023 minus my grandmother is 93. 93. That's equal 1930. So my grandmother was born in 1930. Both her mother and grandmother lived over 90 years old. So we're just going to say we're just only going to go to the two grandmothers, her mother and her grandmother that she spoke of. All right. So I think it was 90 something, but I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt and just say 90. But both I think her mother lived to be about 96 or even longer, and her grandmother about 98 or somewhere around there. But I'm just going to go with the low number 90. Okay. So 1990 minus her mother, which is 90, minus 90 equals 1840. So her mother was born in the 1840. And we're only going to go to her grandmother. I'm not even going further than that. Minus another 90 equals 1750. So my grandmother was able to recollect. Okay. Her grandmother never told her who was born in 1750, never told her about no damn slaves. No slaves. So like I told y'all better show some respect. My nana is still here as testament, 90 years old. All right. My mother is 71 and my mother still look like she's 60 or 59. All right. My people, my ancestors are highly favored. You dig? Y'all better put some respect on that. Okay? 93. So I'm going to take pictures when I go to England. All right. In November, I mean, in July. Okay? With that being said, exactly, Chief Dat. All right. Your grandpa was 93, 103, no slave stories. Okay. No slave stories. So, like I told y'all before, we are the ones that's allowing these people to treat us the way that they're treating us. Okay. They are the one. We are the ones. Everything that's happening is because of us. We are allowing them to do this to us because we are not coming together. We are not coming under one banner. Oh, we want to fight people from that's not from the United States. People from that's not from the United States. They want to fight those in the United States. It's all divide and conquer to make us think that we are a different people. But every prehistoric book I have read to you, it says what? When you see one American Indian, you have seen them all because they all look alike, regardless of complexion. Regardless of complexion, they all, for the most part, have the same physiognomy and physical features. Okay? I'm talking about from North, South, and the new invented Central America. The original people look alike. You dig? So for all you Native Americans, you are going to bow down one day and apologize to the original people of this land. I promise you that because I've already seen it. I've already seen it. About 15 years ago, one of my elders came to me and said, Chief, I saw you in a vision. Okay, I saw you in a vision talking to the Pope, and you had your headdress on and everything, talking to the Pope, talking about your people. Now, I don't know if this is something that's going to manifest in real, but I was showing that vision not 15, I would say about 12 to 13 years ago. Okay, an elder reached out to me and told me this. And another time, a sister hit me up and told me that her grandmother, who don't even know me, in fact, I don't even know the sister. She only know me on my videos and posting things on the internet. She said, Chief, my grandmother was listening to one of your videos with me. And she said, I know his voice. I saw him in a vision. Like I keep telling y'all don't know who I am, but you're going to learn. You're going to learn. Okay? You're going to learn. All right? All right then. With that being said, I'm about to conclude this video. I want y'all to know I love y'all. And we got moves to make. Because like I said, when I come back from traveling, it is time to nation build. It is time to nation build. And we're going to put the benefit, like I said, the benefit or the burden of proof on them to prove we are not who we say we are. Show us the proof. Show us the proof we came from Africa. I dare anybody in the government to show us this proof, whether it's in the islands or whether it's in the United States or whether in any part of the Americas. Not even the Mexicans, they call Mexicans the Mexicans. Okay? They're not the original Mexicans. These people are mixed Spaniard people, mestizos. All right? Mixed with East Indians. That's where they get that hair from. They are Esau. This, the bloodlines of Esau, the descendants of Esau. Okay? Well, know that I appreciate that. Thank you. All right? Y'all gonna learn. Exactly. Okay? We have to comprehend. The Mexicans that you see today, okay, they just speak the language like Mahdi Ali said. All right? So-called blacks and Mexicans don't even speak our original language. We speak English and we not from England. Mexicans speak Spanish and not from Spain. You feel me? That's facts. All right? These people are not even Spanish. They're not even Spanish. They are a mixture of people mixed with East Indians. The truth of the matter is we did not have languages. We have dialects. Okay, we spoke many dialects. For instance, The so-called Caribs and the so-called Arawaks and the so-called Tainos, guess what dialect they spoke? They spoke an Arawakan dialect. All right. But they keep telling you they're different people. No, they were not different people. They were divided into calling themselves different people, but they were literally what's called Arawaks. Okay. And later Taino, Caribs, all these different names to separate the people. Okay. So with that being said, we did not have languages. We had dialects. Dialects. All right. So we had thousands and thousands of dialects. As a matter of fact, we had more dialects in the Americas than in Africa. We had more trees and fruits, different kinds of trees and fruits, okay, in the Americas than Africa. We had lions all the way up into the 1800s. We had the American lions, but they killed off and took all our lions out of America, okay? We had camels in America, which was in the original Egypt. We had camels in Chicago. Man, listen, y'all think it's a joke. I wonder if the internet will allow me to pull up the proof of this. Give me 1 second. All right. Let me see if I can pull this up for y'all. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it up, but it might be a stretch. Let me see something. Now, whether the camels were brought to America or not, maybe they were, maybe they were not. But I'm trying to see if I could pull up if something government camels, because they had camels in America. All right. Give me a second. I'm trying to see if I could find something. You know, a lot of times you can't find that information, but let me see if I can find it. Let me see something. Nubian soldiers, camels, and step pyramids, the most ancient structure. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to see if I could find something. Pyramid, the most ancient structure in the world. It says structure, stereotype, Library of Congress, Washington, D.C., digital. No, I can't find it, man. I can't find it. But the point I was making was I came across a couple of pictures. I don't know where I put it at. I know I have it somewhere in my files where they were showing in you know, Egypt, which Illinois is part of. They were showing camels and everything there. All right, but I can't see it, so I'll leave that alone. So let's just say for now, since I can't prove it, it's not true. But I like I said, I've had pictures. All right, I'll just have to find it. When I find it, I promise I'll do a video. Okay. So let me see if I can put something else to find that. Give me 1 second. Cairo, in Illinois. In Illinois. Let me see if I can find that. Free art, America. Let me see. Cairo painting, about fine art, America. Okay, let me see. It says Title, Camila Cairo, Guido to the painting on March 2020. Viewed. All right, lineage. I'm not even going to waste time. I'm going to take my time and do some extensive research to prove my point, because trust me, I like to prove the things I talk about. So I can't find this right now, but I'm going to do some deep diving because I'm going to get it. Okay, I'm going to get it. Camels and was 1800s. Mrs. of Carol. All right. Do. Now this is bothering me. It really is. Stock. Anyway. All right, man. I hope everybody had a good time, on this live, man. All right, please, Sophia, yeah, send that to me. All right, please. Thank you. Send it to my inbox on Facebook. And I'll tell you the story behind all of that, right? Now, I'm not saying that the camels were original or originally indigenous to Americas. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is this, okay? Back in the late 17, early or mid 1800s, all right, a lot of the foreigners who came here, they brought camels with them, and we had in Cairo, Illinois, Memphis, all those places, they were on camel backs, all right, and even a lot of them were Moors. They had their turbans and everything, all right. They brought those things here with them. So I'm just showing y'all. I want to show y'all the proof of all that. Okay, for real. So I'm about to get out of here. Let me see if anybody has asked any questions. No questions yet. That. All right, cool. Ancient Egypt was here. Yes, indeed. Thank you. They will bow down to us, original tribes of the land. Absolutely, Mahdi. Oh, no doubt. The time will come when every tongue shall bow and every knee will, pardon me, every tongue shall confess and every knee shall bow. Okay? It's going to happen. I promise you. Because once we step up back on our throne to reclaim our birthright, everybody have to bow to us, the original people of the land. All right? Not in no type of egotistical way or we trying to enslave people. No, it's just giving us the respect that has been due to us for all these thousands of years. Okay, that the original people have claimed back their birthright, and that's the only time I'm gonna repeat, the only time that America will be great again, when the original people are restored, because that's when the land is going to respond to the original people, because right now the land is chaotic. Okay, the land is chaotic because the original people were uprooted, okay, in a sense, mentally from the land. We were not uprooted physically because we are still here. But remember, everything happens from the mental, from the spiritual. You feel me? Not spiritual, from the soul. I have to keep getting myself out of the spirit thing as well. You see, we all were indoctrinated. We are not spiritual people. We are soul people. Okay, we are soul people. So with that being said, us being the original people of the land, our soul is connected to that. That's why they had to take away our soul by creating these birth certificates and putting our footprints, the sole of our feet on these papers, taking us off the land and putting us on paper. So therefore, we are no longer tied to the soul of the land, where our feet is supposed to be grounded. So they took our feet, our soul, and put it on paper and took it out of the land. And that's what's happening to our people. Okay? You did. I just gave you another jewel. That's another reason why they took the foot of our soul of our feet and put it on what we call birth certificates. In other words, to get us so that we will not be grounded. So even if we are still here, we are not grounded. We have to do what's called a spirit ritual, which is what spiritual is, okay, to deal with this soul, with these people. But we have to bring the soul. Okay? We have to bring the soul. You feel me? And get back our soul. That's what we have to do. All right? So we have to reconnect back to our motherland. All right? That's our motherland. We have to reconnect. You did? Give me 1 second here. I think Sophia sent me that image that I was talking about. So let me go ahead on Facebook and pull that up. All right, boom. Let us see here. All right, there we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. Tennessee, because remember Memphis, right? Maybe that I was looking for. I'm in Chicago, right? So we're gonna look at Cairo and we're gonna look at Tennessee. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Lineage. I appreciate you. Let me show it to you real quick. Yeah, I just checked it out. Here we go, Lineage. Let me show y'all. All right, Facebook. Boom. Memphis, Tennessee. Cairo. All right. Tennessee. Continental Exposition. All right. Here we go. Here goes the camels up in literally in 1899. That was in Tennessee. Okay, that was in Tennessee. Let's see if we could blow this up. What I'm going to do is, let me stop sharing this. I want to blow this up so y'all can really see what I'm talking about. Let me stop sharing. I'm going to download this. Download. All right. Open that up. All right. We're going to open that up. And then we're going to come back here. Where is the live at? And I'm going to share it again. Much gratitude. Here we go. Let's go to window. And we're going to share this. Boom. Here we are. So you see what I'm talking about? Here we go. Let's blow this up. Okay. That's in Ritz of Cairo. That's in Tennessee. So let me ask you a question. If there were camels in America in the 1800s, 1899, almost 1900, where are the camels at today? Where are the camels at today? Where are they at? Please tell me where they at. Okay? Like I tell my people, man, a trick and the games have been played on our people, man. You feel me? All right, then. Boom. Thank you for that, Lineage. Appreciate you. Y'all think this is a game, huh? All of Memphis, all parts of Illinois, okay? That was part of the original concept of Egypt, okay? And I'm saying concept of Egypt because Egypt was a construct that was created, okay? It's a construct that was created, but we're talking about civilization. So the civilization of what's called Egypt was first in the Americas, okay? In terms of civilization, all right? So for this part of the United States going down into certain parts of South America, okay? Mexico going all the way around, all that extended to what's called the concept of Egypt, right? And then we had Mesoamerica, which deals with the same type of civilization. So they were thriving at the same time. So all this is about us. All this is about us. And it was only later, because of invading armies, our ancestors, okay, who are called the Egyptians, they moved and took that civilization down into what's now called Africa. And they started building and creating those cultures down there, what you now call Kemet. You see, people don't know. Okay? They don't know. So they got us fooled. Now let me see if I could show y'all something which I already did. But I'll try to see if I can show it again, just for the purpose of this. All right. Let me see. I got it. I know I got it somewhere. Boom, 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 boom. All right. And let me just show y'all something again. Like I tell people, when y'all think I'm playing, I don't know what I'm talking about. There's a reason why my ancestors show me these things. All right. And I am going to the Grand Canyon. Possibly when I come back from traveling, I'm going to the Grand Canyon to show and prove to y'all my ancestors were there. Well, Chief, give them some more proof. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and share this. All right. Give me 1 second. No, that's not the one I'm sharing here. That wasn't the one. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find that for y'all. Give me 1 second. So the real genes, Canatan. All right, cool. Come back here and click share. Go ahead here, and I'm going to share the window, and the window to the windows to the wall. Now, check this out, right? This here, I did what's called a rare genes test. You see, I tell people when I'm talking, I don't just talk out of my you-know-what. I'm talking because I know who I am. You feel me? I did a rare genes test. And what I did that in 2017. And on both my parents' side, I am a direct descendant of Akhenaten. You see, people, when y'all keep talking to me, I keep telling y'all, show some respect and put some respect on my name and my ancestry and my genealogy, because I know exactly who I am. You feel me? There's no reason, there's no coincidence why they come to me and show me these things. Because when I was telling people back in the day, America was the original Egypt, people thought I was crazy. But look now, everybody's talking about it. When back in the day, I was telling our people, we were not from Africa. We were the Amerindians, aka American Indians. Everybody thought I was crazy. I've been doing this for literally about 20-something years. Okay? When there was nobody in the popular ones now, they was not doing that. Now, I'm not saying they didn't know who they was. I'm just letting you know they wasn't on the internet talking about it. I was one of the first ones. So when I tell you I know who I am, that's why I'm going to the Grand Canyon and pay homage to my ancestors, because I do that every day. You feel me? But a rare genes test on both my parents' side, it came back conclusively. And guess what? Where the sample was taken, it was taken from the tomb. It was taken from the because they were mummified. It was taken from the DNA was taken from that. Facts over feelings. Now I better stop playing. I got my receipts. That's what I'm telling y'all. I got my receipts. Okay? Let me show y'all another one, because I've shown it before. All right? Okay? I'm going to show y'all again another one. A lot of people talk about DNA this and DNA that. I get it. All right? A lot of the popular companies, yes, they want to put us in Africa. So if DNA companies put us in Africa, and I did mine privately, and it did not put me in Africa, what does that say? Okay, people say, oh, well, DNA don't work. All right, well, go rape somebody and leave your DNA on the scene and see if it don't work. Okay, I'm not saying that DNA could tell you exactly where you come from. That's not what I'm saying. But let me give y'all some more proof, because everybody would want receipts. I'm going to show you receipts. I just showed you, my rare genes test. I'm a direct descendant of Akhenaten on both my parents' side, because we intermarried in our family to keep our bloodline pure, right? That's why I tell people I don't know about this incest thing, if it's not good or not good. I don't know. I'm just giving you the facts. All right. So I am a victim of that as well. Whether I'm a victim or not, I don't know. That was part of my of my ancestors' culture. Okay, this is in 2017 as well. I did what's called an American Indian test. Okay, Native American Indian test. What does it come back and it say? Okay, now the reason why Kalinago Flying Eagle Akhenaten is on there is because the name that my mother gave me is actually on the certificate. But I called the company and said, hey, do me a favor. This is my indigenous title. I would like it on there. Can you do me that favor? So I put the entire name. So my entire indigenous name is Kalinago Flying Eagle Akhenaten. All right. And before I did all that, I did invocations. I did a ritual. And I asked my ancestors for permission to use those names. And they gave me permission to do that. It came back exclusively saying what? I am American Indian, specifically. Okay? Mega population, Cherokee. All right? So with that being said, it doesn't necessarily mean, like I said, yes, Cherokee, the word Cherokee was made up. It was all made up. You feel me? It was all made up. But it doesn't negate the fact that we are the original people. So when y'all natives coming in here and talk, I got my receipts. You feel me? I got my receipts. So show some respect. All right then. Okay? So show some respect. That's all I'm saying. I'm about to get out of here. I think I gave y'all enough for today. I may or may not do another video today. I don't know. It depends on how I feel. But right now, I'm about to go to the park, do a little workout, do some sun gazing, continue to thank my ancestors, to continue honor my ancestors. All right? That's what I'm going to do. So with that being said, one half of my, what you call DNA, it came from the mainland, which is what we call the United States. All right? Then the other half is from South America, all right, which deals with the Kalinagos and all that, what have you. Okay? But going back even further, it goes back into what we call the original concept of Egypt, which is literally all through Mississippi, Tennessee. We're talking about Illinois, going all the way back through Mexico, the Grand Canyon. All right? Those are the territories of my ancestors. You feel me? All right? So, just in case y'all was in doubt and why I'm so passionate about this, I just showed you again. Okay? I just showed you again. All right? So, thank you for being a part of this. I will continue to do what I was sent here to do. I love y'all, and we got work to do. We got to come together. And nobody said it's not going to be a challenge. All right? I'm not saying that. Nothing great comes easy. We are a great people. And let me tell y'all something. Everything is in our favor right now because we are now back in the solar cycle. All right? The soul children, it's time for us to rise again. You dig? So therefore, the ancestors are with us. So we have nothing to be afraid of. Nothing. And they know this. All right? They know this. You see, let me kind of divert here for a second. Before they started calling us black, guess what? They could not arrest us the way that they arrest black people because we were not in their jurisdiction. Black was a code word given by the Christian codes. Like I said, the church was what was the trap house. So the black Christian codes enforced the black slave rules to original indigenous people. They could not arrest us in numbers before the 1960s. They couldn't do that. Before 1968, before 1969, they couldn't do that. It wasn't until the 1970s when it was stamped on paper that we were agreeing to being called black, they could start putting our children in jail. I'm giving y'all facts because they could not do that before 1968. Before 1969, they couldn't do that. It was a transition. And then when the attack came on our people, we had to dive back into our soul. And that's why soul music was another tool of upliftment. But then they attack us again. You feel me? Because we were fighting all through. So in 1970, 1969, we had what's called another solar cycle. So the soul children rose again. So after the 11 years was up, 1980, 1981, boom, here comes the lunar cycle again. Crack cocaine. The Bible God of War. Took our people down. Then approaching the late 1980s into the early 1900s, we try to make a rise again with hip hop. Another solar cycle. My brothers and sisters, I'm giving it to you, the truth, man. The truth. We made another move, okay, with hip hop, but more cultural hip hop in the 90s, because that was another soul cycle. We tapped back into our soul a little bit differently from what we had the soul music, and we made a move. So we were making some strides. Another years later, boom, back in the lunar cycle, we start having rap. Man, listen, y'all don't understand this, man. I'm giving y'all facts. I'm giving y'all facts. Okay? We don't comprehend how much power or how much the sun and the moon affect us. Okay? Every time there's a lunar cycle, the shadow beings, that's when they're most powerful. Okay? When there's a lunar cycle, that's when we are most powerful. But we don't know that. So now that we're back in the solar cycle, we should not be afraid, because everything in the cosmos is in our favor. Okay? So just wanted to leave y'all with that bit of jewel. Now, I saw a video earlier of a Jamaican sister talking about Afro beats. Now, I already made a video on that, but I will touch that once more because I want y'all to see the video. So most likely I'll do a video on that, talking about Afro beats again and breaking that down. All right? I love y'all, and we'll talk soon.